we're continuing with the series about interviews. So in the last video, I talked about my best and worst experiences with an interview. And in this series, what I want to do is talk you through some of the steps that you can take to make sure that you're kind of giving it your best shot with the interview. These are preparation things that you can do to make sure that you know as much as you need to know and you have prepared yourself as much as you can to be your best on the day of your interview. Of course, it depends what kind of interview you're going for as to how necessary all of these steps are. But I would say if it's your dream job, then it's a good idea to put some effort into preparing for it. If it's your dream job, winging it is not the answer. Definitely not. Take it from someone who has winged it at a lot of interviews. Not a good idea. There's a better way. Okay, so this is a series of videos and you can just take your time and go through them and hopefully they will be useful to you. And feel free to ask any questions in the comments below. But also if you have any more ideas of what you could do to prepare for interviews, please let others know below. Okay, so number 2, we're starting at the very beginning of this process. So the first thing you have is the advertisement, right? The thing that has told you there is a job going. So start with the advertisement and look at what the options are. What do they have? It's very common for companies to have a job description, and they may also have a person specification. That's kind of HR speak, but a person specification is the document that they created that identifies exactly what kind of person with what kind of skills they're looking for. So if you can get your hands on the person specification, that can be really helpful for you to understand what exactly are they looking for? What do they have as definite must-have things and what do they have as nice-to-have things? It'll help you figure out how close you are to being who they're looking for. Okay, so start with the advertisement. Look at the advertisement, look at the language that they're using in the advertisement, look at of course, what they're asking of you as the person going for the job in the advertisement, but also see what have they put in about the company. Do they have anything in there about their values? Do they have anything in there about the kind of company they are? What kind of thing, for example, in an advert, it might say that they're an innovative, exciting company. So from that, you can gauge that this is not going to be a kind of boring, everyday situation. Chances are when you go into that company, things are going to be evolving. They might be moving at a particular pace. So they're expecting you to be able to move at that pace too. So if you're the kind of person who really prefers to just do the same job every day and know that your job's always going to be there, it's always going to be stable, and it's not going to be too thrilling and exciting, then maybe this isn't the company for you. So even just reading the advertisement can give you some idea about whether this is right for you. Is it the right fit? Is it the right company? So you've got the advertisement, you apply for further information. Usually you have to send an email or something. There's a website you have to go to. You get the bigger job description and hopefully some other documentation and maybe an application form as well. And what you want to do is look at all of the information you have and use that to help you fill out the application form or CV, depending on what they're doing. We're doing that in the next video. We're going to cover application forms and CVs. So what you want to do here, before we get to filling out an application form, we want to look at the job description, we want to look at the advertisement, and if you can, the person specification, and then start looking at your CV and figuring out, or resume, if you're in the States or somewhere that uses that word instead, and figuring out which of your experiences fit what they're looking for. The wording might be a little bit different, the environment might be a little bit different, but what skills can you apply that you've used elsewhere that would also be applicable here? And you want to start compiling a list. You're looking for experiences that you've had that might be very, very similar to this, or tasks that you've done. Maybe there's a particular program that you use that they also use. So you can say, I've had experience using that program. Maybe you've got a qualification with using that program. If you're looking at something like a management role, then you want to be looking for situations that are similar. Is this managing an international team? Have you managed an international team before? And what were your experiences like? Were there challenges? Were there successes? Start compiling some kind of list about that. And what I would suggest at this point is, if you've never done any of this before, don't panic, but take this moment to start a file, start a folder. In your computer, I call mine CV, but you can call it whatever you like. Start a folder in your computer that you put all of this stuff in. For each job that you apply for, make a new folder within that bigger CV folder and put all of the job description, all of the work that you do into that folder. So in the end, if you're applying for a bunch of different jobs, you should have a folder that has each job title as a new name, a new folder inside. And within each one of those folders, you should have all of the application details, your application form, whatever CV you put in, any of the questions and things that you put in there. If you get to interview, you're also going to put that information in there. So what you're doing actually is compiling a list of information that's going to support your future applications. Because what you find is that these things are really similar, especially if you are applying for a kind of job. So for example, I was applying for volunteer management roles, and what I found, a lot of the questions were similar, a lot of the application forms were similar, a lot of the advertisements were similar, and I ran into similar problems for each role, for each interview. So each time I was able to build on what I had done before so that I could improve my chances going forward. So this folder is really a little bit of a gold mine for you to collect all of your experience and knowledge so that it makes your forward interviews easier. You're gonna, later videos, we're gonna look at what kind of questions they might ask you in an interview. Once you start collecting this stuff, you realize it comes again and again, and you realize that, well, they asked me that last time and I really didn't like the way I answered it. How can I do it better next time? So that's why we're starting with this folder right here at the very beginning, so that you have something to go back to each time and you're not having to start from scratch again. You really don't want to have to do that. It's exhausting. Okay. So first things first, look at the interview, get the job description, get the person specification. If you can, compare all of those to your CV. If you can, go through them with a highlighter, highlight the key parts of the job or any key phrases or words, or perhaps computer programs they want you to be able to use, something that's relevant to the job. Maybe there's a qualification. Highlight all of those things and start comparing them to your CV and your experience to see what matches. Okay, there's your starting point. Go do that, make your folder, call it some pretty name. My CV is not very exciting. Try and make it a more positive, exciting name maybe. Okay, and I will see you back here for the next video. Okay, next time, as I said, we're going to be talking about CVs and application forms. Okay, see you later. Bye.